What's up, and welcome to the Non-Fungible Creator Show. This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible Today, and Non-Fungible Tomorrow. And today we are very happy to have Nikki, who is an artist and the creator of Kumo World. So GM Nikki, and thank you so much for being here. Do you know that when I first saw your project, the first thing that came to my mind was Kumon. So basically, Kumon was a mathematics education center here from Japan. But anyways, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm going to refer to you as Voodoo Ninja, or how should I call you?
Just call me Tim or TC, yeah.
TC.
Yeah,
TC.
so...
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being here. So can you tell us more about your background as an artist and creator? And actually, through our dialogue, I learned that you are actually a software developer by trade.
Yes. So, funny story. I've actually never done art as a career. I've kind of ventured into every other thing apart from art. So I actually started off as a scientist, and then I moved into pharmacology. And after my master's in pharmacology, I was like, this is for me. And I went and did a course, I guess you could say postgraduate course in computer science, because I felt like that was the way of the future. And then I've been in there ever since.
Wow. I don't know what to say, because in our previous show, we also have someone who was a historian, and then she's now a full-time blockchain developer. So it's just very amazing. And because usually when people talk about artists and art, they'll just think that person as someone who's a very creative person who might not be, into programming or, mathematics and stuff like that. So yeah, that is very impressive. So can you tell us more about your art journey? What was your art journey after taking that course? And also, what kind of art have you been making in the past?
So my art journey, I guess, I've always been doing traditional art. So acrylics, pencil sketching, watercolors, and those would be the ones that I feel most comfortable with. And then I dabbled into digital, like just drawing on online tools, I think 10, 20 years ago. But I never really did anything with those. And then it wasn't until the pandemic, I kind of, lost touch of my creative side just because of life. And I decided to kind of pick it up again during the pandemic because we're all in lockdown and we couldn't do anything. So I started doing some digital work as well as some paintings. And I guess it wasn't until a year into the pandemic, maybe, or something like that, that I was like, I'm going to buy an iPad just because. And so most of the digital stuff really happened after I joined the NFT space.
Okay, so
because go for it.
Yeah, so you were talking about after you joined the NFT space. So how do you find out about NFTs and the blockchain?
Interesting story. I actually heard about it back in 2015. But because my friend came to me and he knew I drew a lot. So he was like, hey, Nikki, you should do NFTs. I'm like, what's that? He goes, non-fungible token. I'm like, well, what is that? And it just seemed so out of reach because I wasn't doing any software development back then. So I had no idea what blockchain was or anything. And it just seems like so difficult to grasp that I just kind of put it aside. And then it wasn't until, again, the pandemic where I had more time to look into it that I was like, oh, okay, what is NFTs? Because I saw it pop up a few times in TikTok. So I was like, okay, let's check out NFTs. And then when I saw it, I was like, wow, NFTs, there's so much to do with, like, there's so much thing that you can do with NFTs. Like, it's not just digital art. Because I thought, oh yeah, it's just digital art, just a JPEG, as most people think it is. But it's so much more. There's like, you can do so many things with it. And that's why I decided to explore different mediums. I guess that's how I started with the voxel stuff, because someone mentioned to me in the Discord that I joined, they're like, oh, I think you should do pixel art and voxel art. And then I kind of started dabbling into those and started off really as just pixel GIFs, as you can see there. They were just for fun, like literally, because we had like a lot of GIF competitions, like in our Discord, just to play around, and then that's how they were suggesting, oh, you should try voxel art. So that's how I came up with the pixel game bots.
Okay.
But I mean, I just want to point out that the NFT space is actually quite intimidating at the very start, because when you first enter the NFT space, you don't know where to go to talk to people. Um, and and when you Google or when you go onto Twitter, because I know that Twitter was the most I guess active space for NFTs. So I was on Twitter and I was trying so hard to find somewhere that I could find a community, because I'm like, surely people don't just chill. They have conversations with people, like they get to connect, but where do you connect with other people? And back then, I don't believe like projects, like NFT collectible projects were huge at all. Like there were only, I didn't know of any back then. And this was like before the Board Ape Yacht Club. So there wasn't really much of a community that I thought I could join. So I was just kind of following people on Twitter. And then I was talking to Kristen, and he invited me to home. And that's where I found out that like Discord is where you do most of your connections. It's the easiest place to find people that you vibe with. And so I guess like if people want to to meet communities in the NFT space, they should, or I would advise that they join a community on Discord and get to know people there.
Okay, so from up, yeah, that's interesting. So from uploading individual pieces as NFTs, you have recently created a world that's called Kumo World. Is it possible you could share us more about the concept and also how you found the team behind this project?
Yeah, so I guess the concept is basically a world that Kumo has created. However, nothing is set on stone, because I didn't really want to just create a world where I write everything. So, like I said, community is super important to me. So I wanted to be able to involve them as much as I could with the process. And so it's like, I don't know. I feel everybody is a big kid at heart. So I kind of wanted to create a place where everyone can just be silly and just have fun. The project is about having fun and just embracing your inner child, and being comfortable with yourself, and not to take things too seriously sometimes. And it was really nice because the team kind of came together very organically. I think I told you before that the project started off as just Discord, and there was only very few people there, and then it blew up. But like at the time, 200 people was a lot for me. And they were commenting, when moon, when Lambo, when roadmap, when everything. And so I didn't have anything, and I was active at the time in Oniforce, and a girl called Jess came in, and she messaged me, and because I knew her, I didn't know anyone else. That were asked, because a lot of people were DMing me, like, hey, I can help you out, but I didn't know them. So don't trust people you don't know on the internet, is what I would say. And so then I took up on Jess's offer to help, and then she introduced me to the devs, and then from there on, people from Oniforce were super nice. So I kind of brought some of them into the team. So the team has since kind of moved around, because some people have moved on to do other things that they wish to focus on, which is totally cool. Because I'm all about, super supportive of them growing in their career, and I'm not going to be like, please stay. It's like, if this is what you think is best for you, then you go for it. I'll support you, and this will always be your home if you want to come back. We're always welcoming you. And so that's how our team kind of grew very organically through the times of 4 or 5 months.
So yeah, that's very interesting, because what you're saying is that your community actually came together organically, and your team kind of reached out to you by as someone who saw your project, really liked it, wanted to join your team. And so that's very interesting, because usually for what for NFT projects, what happens is a bunch of friends, get together and then they start a project. But for you, it started very organically, and it's actually very inspiring, like the way you build your team and also allow some of these team members to, move on to other projects because, they want to do other things as well. So from my understanding is that your project was actually quite successful in terms of the mint. You had 6,666 NFTs and they all sold out. So what would you say is the key to launching your project?
So there's so many factors to consider, but I personally think that having a solid community is the most important thing. So like I 100% value my community, and I don't know if they're watching, but if they are, I love you all so much. You guys mean so much to me, because they're the ones that make or break a project. It
Mm-hmm.
like, you need a community that fully believes, not fully, but like believes your project and that supports you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't, that's when, they can cause like that's when people paper hand or they FUD or whatever. But I guess I've just been very lucky that I've had just a lot of support from the
Mm-hmm.
community. Like there would there obviously are people that would try and FUD the project or try and cause commotion, and there has been times where people come in and
Mm-hmm.
just talk bad about the project. But what was so nice is usually this happens when I'm sleeping,
Yeah.
and the community, like not even the people on the team, but the community themselves would stand up for the project and be like, hey, this is not cool, if you're going to basically start cussing and stuff, or if people are, concerned about the floor. People know that I'm not concerned about the floor because this is a long-term project and I'm not going to concern myself over, the floor price and not focus on the bigger picture. And so the people in the community know that. And so they would basically convey my message out to anybody who's like, worried about the floor. And so they also believe in the project to not be concerned about the floor. And I mean, yeah. And also connections is important, like networking. So most people know that I have done zero marketing on the project. I am the worst person for marketing. My marketing skills are like non-existent. And the only thing I'm sort of good at is live streaming, drawing, and talking. So how I did was I kind of went into discourse that I am a holder of their NFT, and I would do
Mm-hmm.
derivatives there. And I think it's like when you're live streaming and people come and join and they talk to you, that's when you make connections, and then it kind of builds interest in you know for them in your project. And so that's how I got some people in from there too. But the main reason why we sold out was because shout out to Evan Tan, my awesome sweet soul. um, yeah, so Loki, our in-house Buddha in the Discord, he posted a tweet that Evan had written, which was basically like, "Hey, supporting small project. If you want to DM me, reach out." So I DM'd him, and he was super supportive. And I honestly only know of him just because of him. I didn't know that he was an influencer, or I didn't actually know any influencers at the time,
Mm-hmm.
or even what they were, what they did. And so when he was like, "Hey, yeah, cool, I got you," and I was like, "Cool, sweet, another 100 people to mint, awesome." And then people started coming in, and before I knew it, it was getting very crazy in the Discord. Twitter was
Mm-hmm.
also bumping. IC Tools was also going on, and
Mm-hmm.
everything was just going at like, I don't know, full speed. And then my community members, the original ones, were like, "Kumo, what's happening?" Where all these random people like chatting in our Discord. And then we sold out within like 45, 50 minutes of Evan's tweet. So I'm super,
Wow.
super blessed and so grateful for Evan for doing that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's how we sold out, I guess.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful story because what you're saying is that someone, looked at your NFT project and then they appreciate your art, they appreciate the concept behind it, and then they decided to tweet it to their followers, and then their followers decide to tweet it to their other followers, and then it just blew up.
Yeah, like a domino effect.
Yeah, and it's all organic. Like you don't pay that person. You prove yourself, through your art, through your dedication to your project.
Yeah, it was really nice because it wasn't like a paid influencer. It was just like Evan just liked the idea of the project because I guess what's nice about this project is that it is inclusive of all ages and all like of everyone really, like whatever race you're in or what country you're in or what status you are, it's fully inclusive. If you're a family, if you have kids, um yeah, it's so nice because I love the fact that I can reach out to children in my project. I've actually talked to some of the kids that that the parents have, like say there's a few of them that have given me feedback from their kids, and I've talked to one or two of them in from like Discord voice channels when they come on and start talking with me, and it's the sweetest thing ever, to know that I can reach so far outside of like the collectors as well. And one of the guys was saying what's so nice is because he does NFT full time, and sometimes it's difficult to explain to his kids and his family like what he's doing. And so with Kumo's World, that he can show them like this is what I'm doing, and also there's going to be like storybooks and games and everything that'll be coming out that their kids can also enjoy. So NFTs is not just enjoyed by the collector. So Kumo's World NFTs can be enjoyed by the whole family through storybooks or coloring books or games or even through like pictures if you hang on the wall, which is what this dude did. He he printed all the Kumo residents that he owned and put them on his son's wall, which his son really loves. It was really sweet.
Wow. I mean, this is such a beautiful picture that you're painting. I mean, because you're creating a family-friendly NFT and the family members, what you're saying is that the NFT collectors are sharing this with the family. They're sharing it with the children, and then their children, could take part into this. So NFT is not just about speculation, about flipping this or that, but it is something about culture. I mean, that's why NFT is so exciting because this is all about culture. It's about, a creator and then connecting with other people from all over the world, using their art.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, yeah, and you were talking about children's books. I pulled up your roadmap. So I know that you have the first children book story NFT and collab with other projects, and then you have a token coming up. So out of curiosity, like for people who never heard of Kumo World before, can you tell us more about your project in terms of the utility or what is going to happen next for NFT holders?
Yeah, so at the moment I have finished the coloring book. So the coloring book is made from the original expedition residents. So before we launched, I mentioned at the very start that we're building like the story of Kumo's World evolves with the community as the community evolves. So we were writing the story together. And before launch, I was holding expeditions weekly where we would explore the world and meet the residents, which are the different classes from the collection. So there are like the apes, the oni, or the apes, the harajukus, the creatives, the foodies. Yeah, those awesome residents. And so they are the rare one of ones from the project, like the originals. You could call them Genesis, but yeah. So we were kind of going through the story, through the expeditions to find them, because I wanted to make it a fun way to do the sneak peeks. I didn't want to just drop them in the channel and be like, hey, they're this is what they're gonna look like. So I took them on a journey, and we had challenges, and it was actually a great way to get to know the community and engage with them because they all just got really silly. It's like role play, tech-based role playing. You can call it like Dungeons and Dragons, but in Kumo's World as opposed to in a dungeon and slay dragons. I don't actually know what dungeon and dragons are, but I've been told it's very similar. So yeah, so that was where like stories kind of started beginning. And so the first book that I completed is just the coloring books of all the residents, and there's also little challenges not challenges, but like creative suggestions in the book that I think is like hidden messages, you could say, for kids or whoever's using it to learn how to not judge a book by its cover, or also to learn about gratitude. Because on the very final page after the deities, I have like draw 5 things or 3 things that you're most grateful for. And I think that was a nice way to introduce like gratitude to children, which I don't believe is taught enough. Because obviously when they're drawing, like, what is gratitude, mom, dad, or whoever is there? And then
Mm-hmm.
after like to learn about gratitude, because I think gratitude is so important. Just to be grateful and not take things for granted. And so that's kind of that's the coloring book that we have at the moment, and it's available for pre-order on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in our Discord, you can go into the announcements section and pre-order your coloring book.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're working on at the moment is the actual storybook with the illustration.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, I have brought in. He's a new UV artist partner that I brought in. He's such an amazing soul as well, and he
Mm-hmm.
is a professional illustrator. So he is working on the illustration for the storybook at the moment, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
so excited. It looks so cool. If you guys haven't seen in the announcement in our Discord, all the sneak peeks and the sketches are all there of some of the pages that he's done, and they look super dope. Yeah, so that's the main thing that we're working on, and we're going to launch the coins, the
Mm-hmm.
KXW tokens, in early Q1 of next year. So we're working on that at the moment. I'm getting the front page set up so that people can go on to the website and claim their tokens. And those
Mm-hmm.
tokens would be used on the Kimochis for now. So
Mm-hmm.
Kimochis are like mystery pets that you own, that you can own, and I guess more details on them to come. We're finalizing the mechanisms and whatnot, but they're going to be scarce, and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a thing where NFT holders or Kumo NFT holders will get first priorities over the Kimochis.
Oh,
And there's going to be really cool things you can do with the Kimochis, such as evolving them. And the evolutions are super cool. I wish I could show you what
yeah.
they look like, but you'll have to wait.
That's very exciting. And we actually have a Kumo holder called Huko, and he had a question for you. So basically, the question was the sentiment of NFTs outside the community is poor at best. Any thought on how to possibly change that line of thinking?
Sorry, you broke up there for a second. Can you just repeat that?
Oh, so his question was the sentiment of the NFTs outside the community is poor at best. Any thought on how to possibly change that line of thinking? So what I meant is that for people who are not actively taking part in the community, the people who are not the ones that took part in the expeditions, who are active on the Discord, they don't really understand what your bigger picture for the project is, and also its big potential. So his question was, so is there any way that the team or maybe you could do to help these people understand your greater vision for this project?
Yeah. So I think the sentiment at the moment is that we're just a JPEG. I think with most NFTs is that they're just JPEG. There's nothing else. But
Mm-hmm.
NFTs is so much more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing is, though, the current NFT or the current people in the NFT are, I'm not like, sorry to offend anyone, but majority of them are moon boys, where they're just in it for the, like you said, the 10x flip. And so that's why you see that's why a lot of projects are built on hype, and people are so spoiled with this whole concept of 10 flips or 10x flips that they have no patience for projects that have a long-term goal. Like they want their profit like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they forget that Cool Cats were below floor for a while. I think they were at 0.01 ETH or 0.01.15 or something ETH for a while. And the Bored Ape Yacht Club did not sell out in one day. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's like they're almost expecting projects to sell out like instantly. And if a lot of, see, that's the sad thing, is that people now base their project success on selling out. And I think that's just such an unhealthy mindset to have for your project, because you're saying, if I don't sell out, then my project is not successful. But is that the long-term goal of your project, to sell out? And then, you know, it's like you have to think of when you don't sell out. And the utility, I think people will learn about it eventually. I can't like force people to come and learn about it. Like I said, a lot of people FOMO'd into our project without knowing about our roadmap, and still don't know about the roadmap. They just see the floor on OpenSea, and that's it. And during the time of our pump, OpenSea was actually broken, so our floor was stuck at 0.07 for the whole of that period. And so even when people were trying to, you know, get their flip, they were thinking that 0.07 was the floor, even though it was like 0.1, 0.15. And then those people who don't understand are like, oh, the floor isn't rising, so I'm going to undercut the lower ones. And so, I mean, it just, I don't understand people's mentality. But how also to increase the value outside of our Discord, for those who don't, I guess, who aren't active in the Discord, we plan to, you know, do collaborations, like not plan to, we are doing a lot of collaborations with other projects, so that it kind of reaches to people not just within our own network. For example, NanoPath, we have formed a long-term partnership with them, and they are such an amazing team, and they're so hardworking, and they have such an amazing roadmap ahead. I'm going to say, if you want to find out more about NanoPath, you can go check them out, because I don't want to give out any information that I shouldn't. So yes, NanoPath is one of the bigger, I think the biggest partnership that we're doing at the moment. And they have like a Nanoverse, which is basically a 3D metaverse, which is in their roadmap. And people are asking me if Kumos are going to have full bodies. And I was saying to them, well, if we're going to be in the Nanoverse, they kind of have to have a full body, right? Or just floating PFPs with just the, you know, chest upwards. So yeah, I mean, there's no timeline for that at the moment. So we're just trying to focus on the things at the moment, as opposed to just write a deadline for all these things that we are thinking of doing. And then I guess I would prefer to, what would you call that? Under promise and over deliver. So I don't want to promise too many things, and people would be like, when this, when that, whereas, okay, I'm going to just do this. But if we do the other things in, like, you know, they're kind of working in the background, and if we can do them before a certain date, we will let you guys know, and it will be kind of like a bonus, like a treat that, oh, we didn't expect this, but here we have. So that's kind of, I don't know, I feel like I just went on a huge ramble, and I'm not sure if I even answered the question, Tim.
You did.
Okay.
I mean, by being here today and the way you're sharing it and the way you're seeing things, you know, it's just a brief encounter between me and you, but I felt like your community is in good hands, because you are someone who, you know, you build an experience. You aren't just someone, like the way you're building your experiences on Discord, you aren't just uploading the photos and these are our sneak peeks, but you are spending that extra effort, you're spending that extra time, you know, to create an exhibition to meet all of these residents. So I think they're all in good hands. And, you know, NanoPass, they had the mint like a few days ago, and then the floor, you know, just went up really high, and it was a very hyped up project. And I think, you know, if they are part of your, you know, if they are partners with you in down the roadmap, I think people could just needs to wait, you know, stop paper handing, try to understand what Nikki is trying to do with this project, and you guys are in good hands. Absolutely. I mean, what sometimes our mindset has to change. For people, if we are to be Web 3.0 advocates, right? We can't treat NFTs as just JPEGs, okay? NFTs are actually a membership. It's actually a membership to show your support to that team for building value for these communities in the future. So sometimes you do have to pay, right? Like Bored Ape Yacht Club. Why is it so expensive? Because you're paying for a yacht club membership, even though it's virtual. So why would it make any difference to pay for an NFT membership for a certain project if that project is adding value to you? I'm not sure if you get what I mean, Nikki.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's like, you could say it's like when people buy tickets to a concert. It's just a piece of paper,
Yeah.
right? It's the value that that piece of paper brings. It's like, or like a membership card to a club or something. It's just a piece of plastic, but it's the value of that plastic that gives it the value that you're paying for.
Absolutely. And then one of our audience said he doesn't have a question, but he just want to say he, support your project. He really likes your project and vision.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I love you all. Thanks for the support.
So I think I'll ask one final question before we wrap up. Because you're talking about the floor price and also people's expectation, right? And as an NFT creator, what happens like? So when Kumo World came out, it minted out very quickly because there was some hype behind it as well. You have people sharing it, and you also kind of attracted some people who are those moon boys, as you said. So in the end, if they do not sell the NFTs at a price that they expected, right? They might have some pressure on you, like when Lambo and that type of stuff. So as an NFT creator, would you faced with some negative emotions, and also how did you face that?
Yeah, I mean, we face them every day. It's the nature of the project, but you just kind of have to build a strong mentality. And the thing I always say is that if it's your project, you need to believe in it 100% and not have any doubts of your project, because it's when you have doubts is when it starts to kind of affect you negatively.
Yeah.
So when people come and FUD in the Discord, which doesn't happen anymore, but at the very, very, very start, after we sold out, there were some. I mean, it does kind of it will affect you regardless of whether you wanted to or not, but you decide how you want to react to it. And so what I usually do is I take it as like, I acknowledge their feelings, and yes, it might be a bit I guess frustrating for them if they came into 10x, but at the end of the day, the only way to make a loss in this is if you sell below the price that you bought it at. If you don't sell it, then you haven't made a loss. You just still have an investment. But if you sell it at a loss, that's when you make a loss. And then also, I guess what I've learned also is patience. Like people will try and put pressure on on the creators or devs and be like, oh, when are we going to get this? Why are you guys not working fast enough? They have to remember that we're also humans, and Rome wasn't built in one day. Games aren't made overnight. Storybooks aren't drawn in like 24 hours. And we are also only a small team. So I think a lot of the times when projects are, I guess, the floor is below mint, people start to demand things and put pressure on projects to deliver. Even though it might not even be on the roadmap, or that is not even close, is like further down in the roadmap. And sometimes projects will cave into those demands, but I think it's important to stand your ground and make it known to them that I appreciate and understand your frustration. However, we are going to just stand by our beliefs and our project vision, also our roadmap, because we don't want to overpromise and then deliver really crappy quality things just because you are asking for them sooner. So actually the Kimochis and the coins were, I had initially said, oh, post launch, that I will deliver them. But then I was thinking, why am I delivering these things like 1 week after launch? Like I need time to, like, I was literally burning myself out and overworking because I was just trying to please everybody. But then this is what I mean by the community is so important. They're all so caring and supportive of me that they're like, Kumo, you need to rest. Like take a week off. Just don't overwork yourself. Don't burn yourself out. Make sure you get enough sleep. And they're so patient with me as well. And like, it's funny because I said to them so many times that I'm going to be, be a bit missing in action this weekend because I want to rest. I want to take time off, but I'm still there 24/7. They're like, Kumo, you said you were resting. And I'm like, I'm trying. It's so hard. I mean, that's why like I love the community because they're not putting pressure on me to deliver. And then when I deliver, they're super happy with how I'm doing things. Oh, at least as far as I know, unless they want to drop their concerns or questions in the questions and feedback channel in Discord, they're more than welcome to. But
So,
yeah.
We do have a question from Christian. Well, he said, "Yeah, Kumo, take your time. No need to rush it." But his previous question was about Nano Pass. So he was wondering if you could share, tease a little bit what's gonna happen. Is it gonna be a one-time thing, or can you share a little bit to him for tuning in?
Wow. Hello, Christian. Thank you for your question. So Nano Pass, as we all know, is like a 3D world. We have a collaboration at the moment. Like what we've done is there are rare one-of-one Kumos in these in the Kumo in the Nano Pass pass
Black.
that have been minted. So they're like someone is going to have minted a one-of-one Kumo in their Nano Pass. And so that's not the only thing that we're collabing on. When they have their world done and ready, we have a plot on their commercial. I think they call it like the commercial. We'll have like a HQ in their commercial plots. I don't actually know if that's the right term for them, but we'll have like a space there, and potentially we can have Kumo residents running around the place, and if all goes well, I mean, I'm
So-
have to think very carefully how to phrase this.
Yes,
so people
absolutely.
like, oh, you're giving us false information, but
Yeah.
potentially there will be Kuma residents that can wander around their
And
nanoverse.
yeah, and it's not financial advice, okay, everyone? This is
Not
not financial advice.
nor
Yeah.
are we promising when or if this will happen. However, it is in the talks.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, imagine Kuma residents running around. Like, you would be able to enter their nanoverse as a Kuma resident. And yeah,
Yeah.
maybe also have expeditions there, but no promises.
Absolutely. Because I think what the community members have to know is that you're talking about collab with another project, right? So it takes two to tango. So you could have done your part, but what if there's some integration or something like that? We never know. It could work out very well or it could not work out. So, but I think the message that the community has to know is that they're in good hands. You don't have to do this, collab with NanoPass, but you decide to do it with them. So, community, you are in good hands. Don't worry.
Yeah, like there's so many projects that I'm talking to. Just a lot of things that are happening in the background that we can't leak out because, like you said, it takes two to tango. So we have to figure out a lot of the intricacies before we can be like, yo, we're doing this, and then being like, oh, actually, we're not doing it because we can't. So there's a lot of things happening. So a lot of things to be excited for. I'm really excited for 2022 because, damn, can't say.
Yeah. Just I know what your community could do. Just follow Nikki on her social media. Follow Kumo World in social media. Follow their Discord. If you're watching this video, if you're not active in their Discord, be active. Join them.
Thank you. Like, we're actually hosting Kumo Talks, which is a Twitter space that I'm setting up, like doing series of Twitter spaces with influencers and also successful project leads or dev from successful projects. So this Sunday, actually, tomorrow. Oh yeah, tomorrow. Wow, already Sunday. So tomorrow we are doing a Twitter Spaces with a dev from Pixel Knight from Bears Deluxe, and also we're going to talk to Madusky from Kaiju Kings, and also George and another of his team from Zen Apes. So we have 3 successful projects that we're going to talk to. We're going to basically get some insights on their projects and what they thought made their project successful and any learnings that they had, because a lot of people were asking me what made my project successful and any tips I can give. But honestly, I'm so new to this space that I don't feel like my opinion alone will suffice, because it's always nice to have several opinions before making a decision on how you plan to run your project or create strategies for it. So that's why I decided to, for my community as well, like I want them to learn, and if they're doing projects, for them to succeed as well. So I thought this would be useful for them to learn from these people, because sometimes maybe they don't know how to reach out to them, and so here, like an AMA where you can just ask them anything. And then the week after, we have confirmed Takoa and NFT the boy, and also another person. So it's like from an influencer's side, what they have on project and stuff, and what they think is a sign of a successful project. So lots of cool things. Also, I had been looking for female founders of successful projects, so that I can talk with them and get like a female perspective, because as you know, we are a minority in the NFT space. And so it would be, I think, very insightful to get talking to them as well. So yeah, lots of cool things planned. Sorry, I'm on a ramble again.
No. That's absolutely fine. I mean, it's very inspiring that you're trying to get female representation in this space as well. And I'm very proud to say that in my previous few shows, besides my show 2 days ago with a kid who's 11 years old, who's a blockchain developer and NFT creator, my previous 2 shows, they're all female. So I'm proud of this.
Wow.
I'm proud to give this. Yeah, I hope I don't want them to be a minority voice in this space, because there's just so much potential in the NFT space. And it's this, as you said, like your project. There's no racial or there's no gender differences or anything. Anyone could be in it. So that's very exciting. So is there anything else that you would like to share, or we would wrap up as we are overrunning a little bit?
Yeah, I think I pretty much mentioned everything. Well, I guess if anybody who was interested in the project, you can come and join our Discord and get to know the community. Like we always, we're very open and friendly, and you don't have to own a Kumo NFT to feel part of a project. Like we're all pretty friendly in there, and we always say, if because people come in and say, should I buy the floor? Should we sweep the floor? I'm like, no, don't. I mean, if you find a Kuma resident that resonates with you or that you vibe with, then maybe, yeah. But I don't feel like, oh, we're just buying the cheapest one, which is actually funny, because most of them don't. They go through the collection and they find one that speaks to them, because that I think that's more important than sweeping the floor, because a lot of people come in and they suggest that, but we don't sweep floors. I mean, let the community decide what the value of Kumo's world is. And so if you guys think it's this price, cool. If you guys think it's more, also cool. We're just going to continue on delivering what we are going to, what we've said we'll do. Floor price and whatever else external to our community does not really bother us, because we are, like I said, long term. We have such huge visions, because like I always say, if you're going to dream big. There's no point dreaming if you're just going to have like a very short term dream.
Absolutely.
No point. Sorry, that sounds very bad. Dream away, but it's always good to dream big. Every dream counts. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, but thank you for being here to, share with us your inspiring story, and it's very insightful,
Oh,
to
thank
tap into your
you.
experience. Yeah. And from what I see in the YouTube comments, all of your community members are very supportive. So yeah, enjoy your Christmas. It's happening next week. And come back bigger and stronger in 2022.
Thank you. I can't believe how fast this year has just flown by. Like time in the NFT space is just so different, you know.
Yeah. So
So
this concludes the end of our show. If you have nothing else to add,
I just want to
it's,
say thank you
Mhm.
so much for having me, Tim. Like for reaching out and wanting
The
to
pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine.
mutual is mutual.
Yeah. So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
to
much.
our viewers as well. Thank you for tuning in. Concludes the end of our show. Thank you so much, Nikki. And for all of you who are watching the show, if you're not a Kumo resident, if you're not following Nikki, look at the links in the description. Follow her, support her. If you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. Share it with the other Kumo residents as well, so they know what is happening. And you guys are in good hands, definitely. So thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you so much, Tim, for having me, and thank you to everyone who's tuning in or has tuned in. I'm glad to be here to share my experience, and hopefully you guys have taken away, or there's something to take away from what I've said. If not, thanks for watching.
Bye bye.